have the board out. It doesn't look like there's anything that's bulging or anything that looks too bad. But there's a lot of components that you're going to need to test and take out, and the conventional wisdom is really, once you've got it out, you've got your soldering iron hot, you may as well do a refurb on the whole thing. And there's around 20-25 components, mostly capacitors, that make sense to remove and replace, and then also the amplifier chip, which is down under this heatsink here. It's the U1 chip, and it's got this little cardboardy plastic thing to stop you from burning it. I did notice when I was after I'd shot the video that this was really hot, so that's generally a sign that there's issues as well, not just the crackly sound. And over time that just cooks, and with the extra heat it then dries up some of the capacitors, and all in all it's just, I've got the board out, it's $20 to $30 worth of equipment. So I've gone into the whole lot of research of which components to remove and replace. I'll put the list of that up in the show notes in the link, but what I've basically done is I take a highlighting pen, go through the list, highlight those, because it's really easy to forget one or miss one or get the wrong component. And what I will do is I have that list plus this list, and I will go down and tick them off one by one as I remove them, and that's what I'm going to start with this evening. So I messed around with doing a lot of soldering work, desoldering work that really needed to be more efficient in the way that I did this work. Eventually went and bought myself a desoldering gun. Just makes the work so much easier. I've also got a fan which sucks away any of the nasty fumes. Makes a bit of a racket, which is not great for shooting videos. So let me turn the fan on. So I'm going to start with these two on the list, C24 and C25. They're the capacitors. They're the hardest to get out really, because their legs are a little large. So I'm going to just put a touch of solder on each of these. The benefit of doing this is that it gets new flux in, and helps draw out the other solder that might be lingering. Okay, so a little bit of fresh solder. Let's go over it again. See if I've got a larger nozzle that goes on the desoldering iron. Just turn it off and So I've put a slightly larger nozzle on it, and let's see if that makes a difference now. That's a good one. Got it. There we go. So now I've got the new nozzle on. Those come out nice and easily. So again, it's just there we go. Okay. So there's C24, C25. Those traces look like they're intact, which is great. Now we're going to go for C22 on our list. C22 on our list. C22. It's down here. C22, it's this one. These ones are really simple now because they really are. There we go, got it. It's that one out. So C32 and 35, it's these two radial caps here. Just making sure I get the right. Again, we're going to just put a touch more solder on there. A little bit of fresh solder. And then go. That's that. Now C32. There we go. 5 capacitors down, 20 odd to go. So I've removed all the caps I need to now. All I've got to do is this amplifier chip here in position U1 which is an LM1875T chip. It's attached to this heatsink here. Now, I stupidly thought maybe I should remove the heatsink, which is quite tricky, but because the bolts are very high, trying to desolder that to heat it up enough. So what I'm going to try to do actually is, instead of doing that, is just to remove this chip from the heatsink without having to remove the heatsink itself. So it's just a matter of removing that screw in there, I'm hoping. So I'm just gripping the bolt on the other side with my finger, see if I can get away with that. It seems to be working. Okay, so the little nut and bolt comes off. Now that's attached with a little bit of heat cement. So I've now removed the bolt, but the heat sink is attached to the chip with a little bit of, there we go, so that'll come loose. So now the question is, have I desoldered it enough? So the thermal cement is loose now. You can see, if you get in there, get the light in a better place, you can see that the chip is off, and I'm going to see if I've desoldered that enough. These 5 legs here, so this one's definitely good. There may be just a bit of small solder on these, so let me just desolder that a little bit more.
We shall do battle more.
Okay, let me have a look and see if I can pry that out now. So the back legs are definitely fine. It's just this one front leg here. There we go. So that's out. So that's a lot easier than trying to take this heat sink out. So let's keep track of that little bolt and the nut. And that's the last component we need to remove. I'm going to take this off, I'll put it back at the end, this little cardboard protector, because it's just getting damaged. Okay, so the board is basically ready to start having components put back in. You can see all the ones that have gone, so that's the next step. The trick here is, particularly with the capacitors that are polarized capacitors, or the electrolytic ones, you've got to get the polarity right. Make sure you don't cock up the polarity, otherwise you will get a bit of an explosion. So first things first, I'm going to make sure I get organized and get all the pieces I need to put into the right place, put those out, lay those out, label them properly, because it is very easy to make a mistake and then you're just chasing your tail. So a little bit of time at the beginning preparing, and it goes a long way.